Processing Diageo's unexpected shutdown.
I'm used to the humming of the machines, the laughter of people, just the general routine of it all. And to walk in and walk through the building and just being that quiet it's eerie.
Why former employees say the government failed them. Plus, a second suspect is charged in Windsor's first homicide of 2026. And unpicked pet waste.
These were not like little nuggets. These were huge, big turds.
A request to Essex dog owners to respect the community.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. The sudden closure of the Diageo plant in Amherstburg is still being felt tonight as the community rallies around workers left stunned by the shutdown. The plant closed 2 days earlier than expected, leaving employees shocked and searching for answers. CTV's Bob Belichico spoke with one former worker and the mayor about the impact of this closure.
The doors at Diageo are now closed for good, and even though workers saw the writing on the wall, the finality still hurts. One worker says that what stings is the lack of a proper send-off after years on the job, and the frustration extends to Town Hall, where Amherstburg Mayor Michael Prue feels burned by the provincial government.
Wednesday, and they said at 1:30, you guys are done and you don't have to come back ever again. It was, you could really see it hit people.
Being told not to return to work 2 days before the plant was scheduled to close is not what Doug Benecritis and his fellow co-workers expected.
I wish we would have had a little bit more notice so that we could have planned properly and maybe tried to have the party on Wednesday rather than Friday.
I have this suspicion that they didn't want all the press there as the workers are leaving the plant.
The workforce of 100 was expecting to clock out Friday, but were paid to leave early. Benecritis was at the 99-year-old plant today to tie up loose ends.
I'm used to the humming of the machines, the laughter of people, just the general routine of it all. And to walk in and walk through the building and just being that quiet it's eerie.
The union said this moment looked great, but overall, they're not happy with the province.
I'm disappointed in the government that didn't take the alcohol off the shelf as soon as they announced they were leaving.
A couple of weeks ago, the province announced a $23 million deal with the company, allowing for all Diageo products to stay on the shelf at LCBOs. Amherstburg would get $1 million of that for economic development and community projects.
If I didn't do anything, they'd get this, zero. I fought like hell, and we're getting $23 million off Diageo. That would have never, ever happened.
That's a little solace to Mayor Michael Prue.
The overwhelming bulk of the money goes to 3 other sites, one in Eastern Ontario, 2 in Toronto, to bottle booze. So that's not helping anybody here.
The deal also calls for $5 million to be used in Ontario-based marketing and promotion, with some of that being used for the FIFA World Cup.
It burns me because we have 160 people who have lost their job. Some have gone elsewhere already, but some haven't found another job. And yesterday was very traumatic for them. Our concern is for those jobs.
We're going to make sure that we put it at the top of the list on our economic development strategy to attract companies down there to open up and be very supportive of the community.
For now, Benecritis and others look forward to gathering one last time as a group at a venue here in Amherstburg Friday for closure their way before leaning on the union to help them transition into the next chapter of their lives. In Amherstburg, Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Windsor police have made a second arrest in the city's first homicide of 2026. The major crimes investigators say 24-year-old Robert Joseph Lebrec is now charged with first-degree murder. He was arrested Tuesday night near Windsor and Giles on warrants for breaching probation, and while in custody, police laid the murder charge. The case began February 19th when a 44-year-old man was found unresponsive in the parking lot of Windsor Regional Hospital's Met campus and later died. Police had already charged 31-year-old Brandon Lay with first-degree murder. Investigators say both accused knew the victim and believe the killing was targeted. Officers also taking a teenager off the road after they say he was caught stunt driving on the expressway. Windsor police say the 18-year-old was clocked going 151 kilometers per hour in a 100 zone off of EC Row Expressway near Central. Officers impounded the vehicle for 2 weeks and suspended the driver's license for 30 days. The stop was part of a traffic enforcement blitz on Wednesday that saw police hand out more than 75 tickets. And yesterday, Windsor police charging a man in his 60s with dangerous driving after they say he hit a police car in Walkerville. Officers say a red sedan jumped the curb on Glengarry Avenue, nearly hitting a pedestrian before crashing into a guardrail and an unoccupied cruiser. The driver allegedly took off but was later found near Olette Avenue and arrested after investigators reviewed surveillance video. Meantime, a Wallaceburg teen is facing charges after police say a knife was pulled during a parking lot confrontation in Chatham. Chatham-Kent police say the incident happened Tuesday morning on St. Clair Street when a 19-year-old allegedly threatened a man while trying to get into his vehicle. Officers say the suspect was found sitting in his own car with an 8-inch knife on his belt and a second prohibited knife inside the vehicle. The victim was not hurt. The 19-year-old is now charged with uttering threats and weapons offenses and has been released with conditions and a future court date. Chatham-Kent police also made an arrest following a traffic stop involving a wanted man from Leamington. Police say officers pulled a vehicle over on Tuesday night on McNaughton Avenue in Wallaceburg for a traffic violation. The driver then pulled into a parking lot and allegedly refused to get out or provide any identification. Officers determined the 43-year-old Leamington man was on house arrest and was also wanted by police in Essex County, Windsor, and London. After negotiating with him by telephone, police say he surrendered peacefully. Officers then found a switchblade along with meth, cocaine, and cash. He now faces 11 charges, including drug trafficking and weapon-related offenses, and is now being held for bail. A Lakeshore woman is facing an impaired driving charge after an OPP traffic stop in Essex. Provincial police say the 46-year-old was pulled over Wednesday afternoon on County Road 11 in McGregor. She is charged with operating a vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs. Police immediately suspended her license for 90 days and impounded the vehicle for a week. She's expected to appear in a Windsor courtroom in April to answer to the charge. 2 people were hurt and taken to hospital after a grease fire inside a Windsor apartment. Fire officials say it happened Wednesday afternoon in a building on Olette Avenue. They say one person suffered burns to their legs after hot oil spilled while they were trying to remove a pot from the stove. A second person suffered cuts and burns to their hands. Both were taken to hospital while a third person was checked for smoke inhalation at the scene. Fire officials say grease fires should be smothered with a lid, not moved. Windsor police were called back to Titan Tool and Die today after workers blocked not 1 but 6 transport trucks from entering the factory. It goes against a Superior Court injunction, but tonight we're also learning the factory will cease operations. Joining us to break this all down tonight, CTV's Michelle Molesky.
Yeah, Stefanie, as our viewers would know, just 2 days ago, Unifor accused Titan of running operations inside the factory. So today, when 6 transports showed up at the Howard Avenue factory, the union bolstered the picket line.
The company has told us on February 12th is that the company has ceased operations. It's not shipping or producing any parts. But it's apparent today that that statement is not true.
The union believes the trucks are here to ship finished parts to Martin Rea. More than 24 uniform members joined Titan workers today to increase the picket line presence in 2 places. The transports were forced to sit in the center lane of Howard Avenue, waiting to either get in or leave. Windsor police also on the scene, but it was a peaceful situation. Titan chairperson Randy St. Pierre says there is an easy resolution to this dispute with Titan Tool and Die.
All we're asking for at this point is either a collective agreement, which we probably aren't going to get because we are not giving concessions. We've been steady on that point since the beginning. And so now all we're looking for is just a severance pay. Just a severance package so we can all move on with our lives. And they can move on with whatever business they want.
In the spring, Titan successfully argued for an injunction preventing trucks from entering or leaving the factory. Sorry, to be clear there, they got the injunction preventing Unifor from blocking transport trucks. I apologize. I have reached out to Titan now, its lawyers and Unifor's lawyers to find out if today's action remains a breach of that court order. Stefanie, we're still waiting for a response from Titan, its lawyers, as well as Unifor's lawyers.
It's unfortunate how all of this is unfolding.
Yeah, and you feel for the workers, right? So.
Okay, Michelle, thank you for this. In other news, contract talks have stalled between Essex Windsor paramedics and the county, with the union now taking the next step towards possible job action. The union represents around 320 local paramedics and has applied for conciliation, meaning a provincially appointed mediator will step in to try to break the deadlock. This comes after paramedics voted 100% in favor of strike action earlier this month. The union says key issues include pay, staffing shortages, and burnout, warning more needs to be done to recruit and keep paramedics. The county says it values the work paramedics do and remains committed to reaching a deal that's fair and affordable for taxpayers. The current contract remains in place until the end of March. If it were to come to the point of job action, it wouldn't impact how many paramedics were manning ambulances, as the workers are deemed essential. Closing arguments have now concluded in the trial of two Leamington men charged following a downtown shooting nearly 3 years ago. Prosecutors allege a man from Detroit was shot in the foot after trying to break up a fight outside the club in May of 2023. Two men, Ezekiel Thompson and Silbert Karen, are each facing multiple charges in connection with the incident. CTV's Sanjay Maru is inside Superior Court today, where the defense just finished making its case to the jury. Sanjay.
That's right, Stefanie. Both defense lawyers urging the jurors to reject key parts of the Crown's case. Alexandra Cardella, counsel for Silbert Karen, telling the jury, based on the evidence the jury has seen and heard, they should have, quote, no difficulty finding him not guilty, arguing the Crown has not met its burden of proof. The defense, meanwhile, pointing to what they called unreliable civilian witnesses, saying some provided different versions of events, including one who was intoxicated and another who resolved his own criminal matter before agreeing to testify. The lawyers also say eyewitness accounts have changed over time, including details about whether a gunshot or even a firearm was observed that night. Lawyers also questioning whether Karen was ever in a limousine seen in surveillance video, and said even if jurors believe he was involved in the initial altercation with Rafael Holland, there is no evidence he saw, possessed, or knew about a firearm. On the charge of carrying a concealed weapon, the defense arguing the only testimony suggesting a gun may have been seen was uncertain and never tied to Karen through a photo lineup or physical evidence. Lawyers for Ezekiel Thompson telling the jury the Crown has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he was the person who shot Holland. They argued no civilian witnesses were able to credibly identify Thompson, and questioned how one key witness could claim to see the shooter despite testifying he was positioned behind a limousine at the time. The defense also highlighting what they say is a lack of forensic evidence, including the fact that no items inside the vehicle were tested for gunshot residue. Lawyers say a guilty verdict requires certainty, not suspicion or the belief that it, quote, looks like someone committed the offense. And with defense closings now complete, the judge is expected to formally charge the jury tomorrow morning at 9:30 before deliberations get underway.
Okay, and Sanjay, of course, we will be there. Thank you for this. Whether it's floods, wildfires, or tornadoes, a team of volunteers from Windsor, Essex will soon be prepared to help families in a crisis. Today, in-class and hands-on training underway at Habitat for Humanity.
Emmett Pastino has signed up as a volunteer to help in the event of a natural disaster.
I get to learn a lot about tools.
He, along with 25 other people from Windsor, Essex, getting hands-on training at Habitat for Humanity, who has teamed up with the Ontario Corps and the Ministry of Emergency Preparedness and Response.
So we have generators, pumps, drying equipment. We're also today, we have some debris to remove that we've put together in our parking parking lot, and we're practicing some sandbagging. So we're there when it's an emergency.
It's a little nerve-wracking, but it's good to know that I can help people out when needed.
Our region has had its fair share of emergencies.
We know that natural disasters are easy to come by here because of our geography. But we know very well in Windsor, Essex, we're low-lying, we're flat, and so when we have especially overland flooding.
These trainees may also be asked to travel across Ontario to assist in any unforeseen event.
We're hearing from some of the folks today who go up to northern communities to help with the rebuilding efforts, specialties in plumbing and electricity, so that's really important.
All to help families in distress.
When a crisis happens, it's the worst day of their life.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for a first look at the weather. And Gary, temperatures looking to hit the double digits.
Double digits warming up tomorrow. Some of you probably bracing yourself. Double digits? Could he mean -10, -15 wind chill yet again? No. We're going to be warming up with a good southerly flow. Meanwhile, satellite radar imagery does show us snow cutting across upper Michigan into Manitoulin Island, Ontario. It will stay to the north. We are looking at a warm end to the work week. Friday and Saturday look sunny just like today and above seasonal. Could it last the entire weekend into next weekend? We'll just call it quits on winter itself. No. But there's some good news ahead. I'll break down the complete forecast in just moments. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk. Stefanie?
And Gary, as the snow melts across Essex County, some unpleasant surprises are being uncovered. Essex Mayor Sherry Bondy is calling out dog owners after numerous complaints about pet waste left behind in local parks, including Harrow's Veterans Memorial Park and Sadler's Pond. She says it's not just unsightly, it's disrespectful. CTV's Chris Campbell reports.
A beautiful sunny morning in Essex. The snow has melted, the trails are clear, and what's being left behind is hard to miss.
I just spotted my first number 2 down over there, then I spotted the number 2 over there, and the number 3 number 2 is right over there, if you know what I mean.
Now that the snow is melted, you can see it everywhere. It's in front of Town Hall, it's by our arenas, by our tennis courts, at our parks, at the Harrow Memorial Veterans Park. You know, we can't escape it.
Mayor Sherry Bondy took to social media this week, calling the situation gross and reminding residents this is their community.
The last time we sent staff out to the Harrow Memorial Park, there was 60 dog poops. And these were not like little nuggets. These were huge, big turds.
Bondy says hiring a private cleanup company would cost taxpayer money, and she worries it could actually encourage irresponsible behavior.
People just need to be responsible. Please pick up your poop.
Some dog owners say picking up is simple and non-negotiable.
Be responsible. If you're going to be responsible to have a pet, especially a dog, clean up after it, because you don't want people to be stepping in it. But here's another thing. You don't want your dog to be in it as well.
And that's why I always come prepared. I always keep my bags on hand. Got to be responsible, right? Being a pet owner.
The problem isn't just ruffling feathers in Essex Centre. In Harrow, concerns hit a little differently at Veterans Memorial Park.
It's not a dog park. It's a veterans park. It's a memorial.
Harrow Legion President Paul Chartier says the space is meant to honor those who served, and seeing more than a dozen piles of pet waste nearby feels incredibly disrespectful.
You can understand geese and all that, you know, that's different. But when you got a dog and you're with your dog and you let your dog do the business there, just take a bag or a Kleenex, whatever you got to do.
I just think it's very ignorant that people don't have the decency to clean up after their dog in a park that's here to pay respect to our fallen veterans. You might as well call it landmines in the vet park.
Bondy says the message is simple. No one wants to step in it. She's hoping a public reminder is all it takes before the town has to consider stronger enforcement.
At the end of the day, though, it would just really be nice if people would just pick up their dog poop.
In the town of Essex, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Here's our question of the day. Who should clean up after dogs on municipal property? Dog owners or the municipality? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked, do you know someone who has been impacted by intimate partner violence? More than 500 people voted, 56% say no. St. Clair College is formally teaming up with the military to help more veterans and their families transition into campus life. The college and HMCS Hunter have signed into a national consortium aimed at making post-secondary schools more accessible to military members, veterans, and their families. The agreement focuses on sharing resources, building support networks, and helping those leaving the armed forces move into education and eventually civilian careers. It also connects St. Clair with other colleges, universities, and federal partners working on the same goal. Officials say it's about recognizing the unique challenges military-connected students face and making sure they're not navigating college life alone.
It enables that clear pathway, that articulation that if somebody has a conflict between their service and their studies, we're committed to working together to make sure that they have success.
A major donation is helping put much-needed protein back on the table for families across Windsor, Essex.
We'll be buying, not sure what's the price out there right now.
Caesars Windsor Cares is donating $30,000 to the Windsor Essex Food Bank Association, funding high-protein food for all 15 local food banks. Volunteers were packing hampers today at the UHC Hub of Opportunities, including meat and other items that are often too expensive and too rare to donate. Food bank officials say with costs still high, more families are turning to them for help, while protein remains one of the hardest items to keep in stock. The funding is expected to help get more nutritious food to people who need it most.
So if you can donate, no matter what it is, drop it off at 6955 Cantillon Drive or go on our website at uhc.ca. And we just want to thank everybody for their continued support. And a big shout out for Caesars Windsor Cares, and the heroes are here today packing the hampers and making the hampers for our clients.
The Kingsville Highland Games are making their return this summer after a year off. The popular Scottish Festival is set for June 27th, this time at Colasanti's Tropical Garden. The event features traditional heavy events, piping and drumming, also Highland dancing. The games were canceled last year due to scheduling conflicts, but draws competitors from around the world. Organizers say early bird tickets are now on sale while kids get in for free. Still ahead on Windsor's news leader, the pandemic pushed office towers into the shadows. But now a new report suggests workers and demand are heading back. Canada's Paralympic team gets a special send-off today before competing on the world stage. And protecting your privacy tomorrow, a university research team launching a new encryption system that keeps your driving habits hidden from auto insurance companies. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. A Canadian man is getting a first-hand look inside a U.S. immigration detention center where he's been detained for months. His family is fighting for his release and say the public isn't being told the truth about what kind of people ICE is taking into custody. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson reports.
Right now, the South Texas ICE Processing Center is home for Canadian Curtis Wright.
None of it's been enjoyable. The separation from my family has been miserable.
The 39-year-old father of 3 has been separated from his children and his fiancée for close to 4 months, an ordeal his family members describe as devastating.
Our whole world has been flipped upside down. Like, I had this perfect life with this amazing man, and then all of a sudden he's just gone.
I really do have a hard time sleeping because it just keeps going over in my mind over and over again.
Wright is a U.S. permanent resident. He was born in Edmonton, went on to earn a business degree, and works in oil and gas. He has been living in federal custody for close to 4 months after being flagged at the airport returning from a business trip in Mexico. The issue, say Wright's parents, who spend their summers in British Columbia, a minor drug possession conviction when Curtis was in high school.
And they went into the computer and found a misdemeanor that he had been charged with
22 years ago.
CTV News has reached out to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for comment. We did not receive a response by our deadline. Since November, the family describes never-ending delays while Wright navigates conditions he calls abysmal.
The food is horrendous. It's something I don't think my dog would take a second sniff at. I don't drink water from here without boiling it first. So it's finding ways to not stay sick.
Going without for 2 days on one bottle of water and a frozen waffle, having to sleep on a floor with no sleeping bags. They call it the ice box.
Wright's family believes poor treatment is intentional.
The worse they make it, the more likely they're going to say, well, if I have to stay in here and fight this for 90 more days, or I can self-deport and get out of here, well, I'm going to self-deport and get out of here.
The entire experience has been a wake-up call.
Before I came in here, I was of the mind that they were doing what they said they were doing, where they were focusing on, the worst of the worst, and criminals and murderers. What I've come to understand since I've been in here is that's the exact opposite of the people that I've met and seen.
Humans are not supposed to behave like this.
The family has now filed a federal court challenge alleging unlawful detention, hoping Curtis could soon be released and fight to stay in the country from his Houston home, where he is desperately missed.
He's the provider for this family. Sorry.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Dueling speeches today from two key political figures. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre shared his vision for Canada-U.S. relations, while Dominic LeBlanc, who is leading trade negotiations with the U.S., gave Ottawa's perspective on tariffs. CTV's senior political correspondent Mike Couture on what was said and the takeaway.
What President Trump says about Canada is wrong.
It's the strongest language Pierre Poilievre has used against the U.S. president to date. In a speech to the Economic Club of Canada, the Conservative leader laid out how he would deal with the American administration if he was leading Canada. He also took a shot at Prime Minister Carney's assessment of the global trading system.
We should not declare a permanent rupture with our biggest customer and closest neighbor in favor of a strategic partnership for a new world order with Beijing.
Poilievre told the Bay Street crowd he wants to negotiate a new tariff-free auto pact with the U.S., an end to sectoral tariffs, the revival of the Keystone XL pipeline, and a full exemption from Buy American provisions. He also proposed an all-party CUSMA working group of parliamentarians to help the government in the review of the trilateral trade agreement.
I think that Canadians are expecting on this an existential issue for many Canadians, a signal from the opposition leader that he has some solutions.
While Poilievre was offering his remedies for the issues with our ally, the minister responsible for trade with the U.S. was giving his own update on negotiations and setting expectations for hard-hit industries like steel, aluminum, lumber, and autos.
But those will be bilateral arrangements. Sort of adjacent to would be the bureaucratic phrase, the trilateral trade agreement.
Now, President Trump has openly spoken about walking away from CUSMA completely. However, some trade experts warn replacing it with bilateral agreements could be difficult.
Particularly given the ways in which some of the key sectors in question in the agreement are so integrated between the three that it would be very challenging to divvy up into separate understandings.
While Poilievre has proposed a cross-partisan team to help renegotiate CUSMA, it's unclear if the government will accept that help. Meantime, Minister LeBlanc confirms he will be meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer in D.C. next week. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Demand for commercial real estate is expected to pick up this year, due in part to workers being forced to return to work in person. Royal LePage's 2026 commercial real estate report forecasts a gradual recovery to continue for the office sector. Leasing activity is expected to increase across Canada's biggest cities as more companies abandon remote work models that were implemented during the pandemic. 2/3 of commercial real estate experts surveyed expect demand for office space to either modestly increase or remain the same in their market throughout this year. Canada's main stock index was up today on strength in the industrial and energy sectors. In Toronto, the TSX gained 375. In New York, the Dow added 17, but the Nasdaq dropped 274. The Canadian dollar is down just 1/100 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold fell $32 an ounce, oil lost 21 cents a barrel. Two towns, one frozen fight. Why a pair of maritime towns both insist they gave Canada its game.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thank you, Morrow, for this image. I believe we got some wild turkeys foraging in the spring-like weather. Interesting. Could that mean there's a sign of warmer temperatures to come? We'll find out. My forecast with all the answers coming up.
Bright and beautiful out there, and things will be warming up. Gary joins me again for an extended look. Gary.
You know what? I think we will see temperatures get into the double digits with the sunshine that we enjoyed today, perhaps even more so, and extending into part of the weekend. Today was seasonal, though. In terms of temperatures, reach a high just above 2 degrees Celsius, 2.3. That's exactly what the average is for this time of the year. So, all is good statistically speaking. It was a bit chilly this morning. The winds will pick up. Air quality is good. It's in the green zone, the lower the number. It's 3, between a 2 and a 3 right now, the better. Winds will be picking up out of the west-southwest as we head into tomorrow. I think the gusts will be ranging from about 35 to 55 kilometers per hour. So that's developing through the overnight into tomorrow morning, through the midday. Right now, temperatures are a bit chillier in Chatham-Kent, -2 or 28 degrees Fahrenheit, +1 or 34 degrees Fahrenheit in Windsor. It's a bit overcast, but we're seeing some sunshine being filtered through that. The wind chill factor is a factor in Chatham-Kent. It feels like about -5. Not so much in Windsor right now because the winds are relatively weak across the region. Take a look at our national temperatures. Coldest air in the white and the light blue and dark blue, indicating minus temperatures. And we've certainly seen that in Ontario and Quebec. The region in southern and central Alberta is warming up nicely. 8 degrees in Calgary. Meanwhile, we're going to be just hovering around 0 degrees or +1. There's snow to the north, upper Michigan moving into Manitoulin Island. Hello to my friends in Gore Bay, such a beautiful part of the province. And snow will stay to the north and east of us. We are mostly clear, if not partly cloudy, right now through to tonight. 8 o'clock, -3, down to -4 by 10. Partly cloudy still by midnight, -5. Feels like -10 to start early Friday morning. So where do we go from here? Take a look at our Enercarousals 7-day forecast calling for sunshine and a balmy 10 degrees. That's on the plus side tomorrow. 6 degrees and still sunny on Saturday. And then we're seeing some flurries. Colder on Sunday, -2. Then -1 on Monday, fair, possible rain, and a mostly cloudy day on Tuesday, -1. And then fair weather Wednesday and Thursday, 3 and 3 on the plus side. That's a look at your weather.
Canada's Paralympic team headed to Italy today. Canada is sending 50 athletes, including 19 who will be making their Paralympic debut at the Milano Cortina Games. They had a special send-off at Toronto's Pearson Airport. Canada will compete in each sport at the Games, including alpine skiing, sledge hockey, snowboarding, and wheelchair curling. The 2026 Paralympic Winter Games will run from March 6th through the 15th. Team Canada, both men and women, can claim silver medal bragging rights at the Winter Olympics, but now there's a new contest brewing. This one is focused on which Canadian city can boast to be the birthplace of hockey. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth is in Nova Scotia.
There is an intense Made in the Maritimes hockey rivalry brewing between two Nova Scotia communities. Windsor and Dartmouth both lay claims to be the place where hockey was invented in the 1800s.
These were found all back there.
Sports historian Danny Dill says there are essays and artifacts going back more than 200 years that prove hockey started in Windsor.
They were doing research in the 80s, and they come across this passage about two boys playing on Long Pond. And it was 1816, 1818.
But according to historian David Jones, hockey was first played on this frozen lake in Dartmouth using these strap-on skates.
Oh, yeah. This goes back to the earliest days of playing hockey on Lake Manook, on Oat Hill Lake, on Halifax Harbor.
The Nova Scotia legislature recently introduced Bill 187, an act to recognize Windsor as the official birthplace of hockey. When Jones found out, his reaction was...
I said, the Windsor what?
Jones's father, Martin, wrote a book about hockey's original roots beginning in Dartmouth and says there is rock-solid research to back it up.
It's undeniable. It's right here. It's in Dartmouth. And sadly, Windsor doesn't have a claim at all.
Dill's reaction to the suggestion hockey was first played in Dartmouth?
I'd say, I'm sorry, no, it didn't. I mean, I really hate to say this. I have before, and I've got proof in here, documented proof.
Other places in Canada also claim to be the birthplace of hockey, including Montreal and Kingston, Ontario. Danny Dill says the historical evidence shows hockey started here in Windsor, Nova Scotia. People then introduced the sport to other parts of Canada, and he says there is no debate. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Windsor, Nova Scotia.
So as you can see, Johnny's brought out the hot dog costume again, so it must be for a good reason, Johnny.
Yeah, polar plunge coming up. This doesn't count as indecent exposure, does it, Chief? Okay, good.
Stay tuned.
Turning now to our weekly segment, What's Up YQG with Johnny Parks from our sister station 89X and our own Melanie Kettner. Now, the two of you will be making a splash this weekend, and we can't wait for it.
Yeah, Johnny and I are taking part in the polar plunge on Friday. Johnny, are you excited?
Don't I look excited to you? Come on. So happy to be here with Special Olympics athlete Julia and Chief Jason Crowley. Can you tell us more about the event?
Yeah, absolutely, Johnny. It's this Friday at 6 o'clock at the Aquatic Center in downtown Windsor, and we're really looking forward to it. We are still looking for plungers, so think about it and get down there.
Now, both of you guys have done it before, so what is it like?
I will say I'm the biggest baby when it comes to cold water, but it is such a great, it's a great cause, and what it means to law enforcement, Special Olympics, it's cold. That's all I can tell you. But Gary is promising us a really warm night, so I'm looking forward to it. But no, it's exhilarating. Let's say that.
Exhilarating is a good word, and as you can see, it did kind of shrivel up my costume here just a bit. Mm-hmm.
And Julia, what does Special Olympics mean to you?
Well, I am going to make this hat for Special Olympics at Nationals and make Windsor proud of me. Thank you.
Woo! Awesome, and I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So can people still sign up for this then? How can they do that?
Absolutely. So they can do it online, go to the link online, and they can do it until Friday at noon, or they can just show up before 6 o'clock at the Aquatic Center and sign up.
Perfect. Now, we'll put the links on our website. Now, Johnny, there are a few other things going on that we have to talk about, including a little Shania Twain related.
Yeah, it's like a tribute dinner show happening at Chrysler Theatre on Saturday.
And something for Canadian rock fans.
This is where I'm going to be Saturday. The Thurs at Caesars Windsor with Crownland's going to be an awesome show.
Woo! And what about for food lovers?
Chili Fest at Wolfhead on Sunday. I mean, that's a match made in heaven. I'm a chili dog in the making right here.
For sure. But first, we're going to plunge on Friday. So thanks, everyone. And that's What's Up YQG.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. Menstrual hygiene products are one of the most requested, yet least donated items at food banks and shelters. Help us change that with Period Promise, Tuesday, March the 10th. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Kate Otterbein. And Kate, we have more on the closing of the Diageo plant.
That's right. Since last summer when Diageo announced the plant was closing, the town of Amherstburg has been looking for a buyer to take over the building. The town says they've found someone to take over, with a second party reportedly expressing interest. But Mayor Michael Prue says Diageo is very reluctant to let it go, leaving him befuddled.
I don't know what the delay is. We had a meeting scheduled with Diageo 2 weeks ago to discuss this, and they canceled. So I have no idea why the property is not being sold post haste. It should be.
We've got more on the plant closure online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And LaSalle says the Front Road Storm Sewer reconstruction project has been delayed again.
Yes, the project was originally set to begin next week, but will now start again on March 9th. The delay is due to the weather predictions for this week. When work begins, there will be lane restrictions along Front Road and major delays are expected. Some term restrictions will also be in place. The $7.9 million project began last summer, but was pushed back because of material delays. Construction is expected to be done by July. Catch all your local news updates anytime online. And in our social spotlight tonight, using a lake in Alberta as his canvas, an artist made magic.
In this case, I create a portrait with charcoal on the ice, a figure scarred from life and emerging like a baptism.
David Papa is the creator of this masterpiece. He created this using frozen methane bubbles beneath the surface. The wind then polishes the ice, making it clear as glass. Papa calls the piece New Beginning, and it was created in collaboration with Travel Alberta.
That is definitely a masterpiece. It's actually hard to believe. It looks like it could be artificial intelligence.
Well, yeah, it does. That's how real it looks.
Yeah.
Because the spray paint, the shadows, I can't even imagine what it looks like from a plane.
So much talent. Definitely thinking out of the box, away from a canvas, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, if viewers at home want to send us some video for this segment, how can they do it?
Yes, you can send us an email at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
And that's what's happening now. Thank you, Kate.
It looks like the one off of Friends. I am not even joking.
Still to come, an unexpected surprise in a Missouri garage makes for a handful for a homeowner and a first for animal control. There's only a little bit more of that snow and ice left over.
Well, that's some good old corn snow there. Not great for skiers, obviously, like myself. So much of the snow has melted, obviously, today with temperatures being yet again above the freezing mark in the afternoon. And we'll see more of that in terms of warm temperatures. Take a look at our 7-day forecast. The issue here will be essentially the rising temperatures.
Okay, Gary, we'll get back to you in just a moment. Finally tonight, a Missouri woman got the surprise of her life recently when she found a monkey on the loose and hanging out in her garage. The woman called for help after spotting the monkey in her home near St. Louis, making for an eventful day for all. NBC's Tracy Henson as breaks down the bananas of a story.
Don't you just hate when you leave your garage open and this happens?
Life Command Center, how can I help you? Hi there.
There's a monkey in my garage.
It looks like the one off of Friends. I am not even joking.
Time to call the boss, Michael Barehands Baran.
This is one of her favoriteest things, to get tickled.
As the name and the bare hands suggest, he catches wild animals and lost pets barehanded.
This is Sissy. Sissy is a spider monkey.
Different than the one in the garage.
Yeah, the monkey in the garage was a capuchin.
And at first, he and the team at Wildlife Command Center couldn't believe it.
They told me that there was a monkey in the garage. I was 100% sure that it was just a raccoon. But it really is. Look at this.
Yep, that's definitely a monkey.
This is the first time in 60 years it was actually a monkey.
And the first time he caught one, but not before this happened.
Then it jumped onto the owner of the house as she freaked out.
She opened the laundry room door, and in it went. From there,
was easy for me to get my hands on the monkey. You know, you just kind of control them, hold them in a way that they're not going to feel threatened, and I was able to get it into a carrier safely.
The last bit of the story, Sissy helped with the microphone.
Jefferson County 911 dispatcher called us, and we were able to trace the owner back from a missing primate report.
After showing the proper permits, the monkey was reunited with its owner. Sissy, on the other hand, will be in foster at Michael's house for a few more months.
How cute is he? And I can't get enough of that diaper.
Yeah. Well, good with the camera there. I like that.
Now that you have a mic that's working, let's get back to the forecast.
That is kind of important
Yes.
doing this job.
Yes.
We're going to talk about warm temperatures, 10 degrees tomorrow, sunny, or at least mostly sunny. And then sunshine continues for Saturday. We'll go from 10 to 6, but those temperatures are several degrees above our average high for this time of the year, +2. And then things do get colder with some flurries. Sunday, Monday, still cool-ish and below seasonal, and then warming up with some showers on the way as we head towards next week. That's a look at your Enercare Styles 7-day forecast.
A lovely way to end the work week.
I agree.
On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca. And Michelle Molesky will be anchoring, and I'll be back with your local late forecast. We'll team up at 11. You don't want to miss it, of course, and I'll have a brand new microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.